Banachari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. I'm always about the ones. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. I'd like to thank everybody for giving me this opportunity to discuss on Srimad Bhagavatam. So today we'll be having a lecture or a discussion on third canto, 7th chapter, shloka number 3. Okay, let me share my we will recite our prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this is a shloka. Hridayam Udayam Arbasaha Arbasyam Kamaschi Krityasyantaha Swatastraptasya cha Katam Nivrittasya Sadhan Yataham. Let me read word by word meaning. Kirtayam. In the matter of playing, Udayamaha, enthusiasm, Arbasya, of the boys, Kamaha, desire, Chikridasa, willingness to play, Anyataha, with other boys. Swattaha truptasya, for one who is self-satisfied. Cha, also. Katam, what for? Niv Nivratasya, one who is attached. Sada, or at all times. Anyataha, otherwise. Boys are enthusiastic to play with each others, play with other boys, or with various diversion, because they are encouraged by desire. But there is no possibility of such desire for the Lord, because he is self-satisfied and detached from everything at all times. Yeah. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Since the Supreme Person of Godhead is one without second, there is no possibility that at any time beside him can anything beside him can exist. There is no possibility that anything beside him can exist. He expands himself by his energies in multi forms of self expansions and separated expansions as well. Just as fire expands itself by heat and light. Since there is no other existence beside the Lord Himself, the Lord's association with anything manifests his association with Himself. In Bhagavad Gita 9.4, the Lord says, Maya tadam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtinaha matstani sarvabhutani chaham tvish avastitaha. The complete manifestation of the cosmic situation is an expansion of the Lord Himself in His impersonal feature. All things are situated in Him only, yet He is not in them. That is the opulence of the Lord's attachment and detachment. He is attached to everything, yet He is detached from all. Yeah. So let us recite our invocation prayers. Om Jnanatimbrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Dena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namo Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishisha Shunyavadi Pashadeshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Kam Karti Vacharan Shri Guru Ji Ishwar. So this is very nice shloka which comes third canto. So we are discussing about third canto, chapter 7. So seventh chapter has started. So now we are discussing about third shloka. Okay. So coming to the context, just we will just go back a little bit, try to understand. So where we are. So this is Vidura. Okay, so Vidura is kind of a traveling, and then he meets uh, he meets Maitreya. So before meeting Maitreya, so Maitreya had met Krishna, and Krishna had told him Uddhav Gita, kind of the message before he wanted leaving this world. So Vidura had met Uddhav, and then after discussion, then Uddhav says, you can ask more questions to Maitreya, and that is a desire of Lord. And Uddhav went to Badrikashram, or he went to give association to the uh, followers of Nara Narayan, who were, kind of Lord asked him to do that. So he went there for his further services. And Vidura asked these questions to Maitreya. Also because Vidura was quite elder to Uddhav, so that was also another reason. And then Maitreya had heard this message of Lord. Okay, so after that, Vidura asked about the different questions about the creation. So this creation is one of the primary questions which initially was raised. What are the activities of the Lord? So then, on the same lines, Vidura is asking, what are the kind of activities of the Lord? So in the previous chapter, uh, uh, what is it? Maitreya had described how the creation is being done. After that, now Vidura asked a further question. So to see this, this question, what Vidura is asking, we have to see the previous verse also, so we can understand how this question is there. Okay, yeah. So we have to see. So yeah. So anytime anybody has query, just let me know so that I will try to answer. Okay. So in the previous verse, Vidura said, "O great Brahmana, since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a complete spiritual whole." Okay. So he's telling Lord is complete spiritual whole and he is unchangeable. How is he connected with the material modes of nature and their activity? This I was reading this shloka for it is quite complex one, the one which we are discussing today. So we'll get into that. It's quite complex, and I was not completely understand it, or completely able to give explanation for it. But still, I will try. Yeah. So here the Vidura asks, since Lord is complete spiritually whole and he is unchangeable, then how he is connected with material modes of nature and their activities? If this is his pastime, how do the activities of the unchangeable take place and exhibit qualities without the modes of nature? Because Lord is not affected by the modes of nature. So he's asking, because how the Lord who is not affected by the modes of nature and who is unchangeable, you know, yeah, how we do this pastime. So Vidura said, yeah, modes of nature. Okay. So this is what Vidura asked. So to further, to further, uh, yeah. Now in today's verse, he's giving a more detail to, for example, whenever we ask a question and we give a supplement to explain the question more. Similarly, now Vidura is asking with giving more detail. Boys are enthusiastic to play with other boys or the various diversion because they are encouraged by desire. So this is very important part, because yeah. So we'll come back to this little later, but he's giving an explanation how um, encouraged by the desires. So this material world, which is controlled by the three modes of nature, and then because of this modes of nature, so the desire will also get affected. So because of this desire, the boys are engaged, enthusiastic to play with each other, or to get into other diversions. Okay, but when we talk about the Lord, okay, there is no possibility of such desire for the Lord because he's self-satisfied. So that is a definition of Lord, and he's detached from everything at all times. Okay. So to understand this, Prabhupada talks about Okay, so Prabhupada talks about something called as a, in this world, the Lord is the only thing. He's the one. There is nobody else. For example, whatever is there in this world, okay, that is are the creation of the Lord. Okay, there are two things. One is a uh, internal potency and external potency. Okay, so the higher, his own internal shaktis, and this material world is there, so which is also his external potency. So both are his own expansions. Okay, so whatever is there, it is his expansions only. In that way, okay, there is nobody other than the Lord. So basically, Lord only has expanded into his, secondary. uh, okay, yeah, he expands himself by his energies of self expansion and separated expansion. So yeah, when we talk about separated expansion, okay, so Jiva Tattva will come. Okay, and self expansion, we also talk about Vishnu Tattvas. And then this material world is also his energy. Okay, so yeah, so then he gives an example of heat and light. So how, yeah, fire is there, and fire produces heat and light. So everything this material world is kind of a expansion of the Lord. Okay, there is nothing else other than him. Now, Prabhupada very nicely quotes a ninth chapter, fourth shloka. So, he quotes this and he gives a translation. Okay, and this is very interesting. The complete manifestation ex- is an expansion of Lord Himself. So everything is the Lord. Everywhere. Ito Narsima, Partha Narsima. So everywhere the Lord is there. Okay, and is only His expansion, because external energy is also His, yeah, expansion. Okay, everything is situated in Him, and not He is not in them. So okay, that is opulence of the Lord's attachment and detachment. So it is very, kind of a very confusing, simultaneously how Lord can be attached and detached. So we'll go further, to understand this. Okay, he's attached to everything, yet he's detached from, all. So it is kind of a Lord's opulence. So what we will do to understand further, let us go to this 9.4, 9.4 Bhagavad Gita, which Prabhupada has quoted. So we'll see what exactly Prabhupada quotes in that 9.4. So 9.4, Prabhupada talks about the purport starts with, you know, uh, something from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It starts with the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.234. The same is there also in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, I think so it comes. Okay. So it says, Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na Bhaved Graham Indriya Sevan Mukhi Jivado Swayam Eva Spurti Adaham. Okay, so now Prabhupada talks about, this shloka which comes from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In this shloka it says, to understand, understand Lord's name, pastime, fame, it cannot be understood by these material senses, and it can be only understood by who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance. Okay, and then proper quotes Brahma Samhita, Primanjana Chvita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hrideshu Vilo Kayanti. One can see the supreme person of Godhead Govinda always within himself and outside himself if one has developed the transcendental loving attitude towards him. Thus, for the people in general, he is not visible. Okay. Here it is said that although he is all pervading, everywhere present, okay, he is not conceivable by material senses. Sometimes people will ask, okay, where is God? Can you show me God? So, you know, so for such people, they cannot see the God because they are having a material senses, that cannot be visible. for the people in general until the moment one has special ointment applied, which is a Premanjulita, okay, Bhakti Vilochanena. Until the moment the special ointment of love is applied, the person cannot see the God. Okay, they cannot see, understand the God, because everything is his creation, the primary expansion or secondary expansion. So everything is Lord's, but still, well, people cannot see him. Oh, he's not visible. Here it is said, although he is all pervading, yeah, it's not conceivable by material senses. This is indicated by the word avyakta murtina. But actually, although we cannot see him, everything is resting in him. Okay, so everything is resting in Krishna, but we cannot see. So sometimes we cannot see so many things, like we cannot see air, or we cannot see wind. Okay, also we cannot see somebody's mind. So but that does not mean that things does not exist. So things are existing, the senses are material, so we cannot conceive that. Okay, yeah, yeah, only combination of, yeah, as we have discussed in 7th chapter, the intermaterial cosmos manifestation is only combination of these two energies. So again, Prabhupada gives an explanation of how these material energies are there. Everything in this material world is combination of you know two different energy of the Lord. So it goes back to the same. So that is why Prabhupada is quoting this shloka here. So yeah, here it says na everything by himself. Okay, self expansion and separated energy. So this is what Prabhupada. Same thing also Prabhupada says, two different energies, superior, the spiritual energy, and the inferior material energy. Just as the sunshine is spread all over the universe, the energy of the Lord is spread all over the creation. Everything is resting in that energy. Okay, so yeah, this shloka is quite complex. I was also quite difficult to understand. Yeah, but going further to understand. Yeah, yeah. So further, Prabhupada quotes in this purport 9.4. Yeah, he says that one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. Like in material world, what happens? If we say, yeah, okay, I have a glass of water and I spread it everywhere. So in the glass, there is no water. Okay, so that is how we think. If I have a paper, I just cut into small pieces, then the original paper does not exist. But this is not the correct example. Prabhupada quotes how is the correct example we can understand about how the Lord been present everywhere, but still he is away from it. Okay. To refute such an argument, the Lord says, I am everywhere and everything is me, but still I am aloof. For example, a king heads a government. Okay. So we have, for example, in current time, we have prime minister or president. For example, the complete government is run in the name of prime minister. Okay, but that does not mean prime minister is distributed everywhere. Okay, there are, okay, so there are different departments, like there is a treasury, there is economic and statistic, excise, electricity. So all are the different department of government, and this all government run under one person, like a prime minister, or in earlier time a king. King is the one who is taking care of the complete government. If you say ki, I cannot see government, so then you can also say that if you don't see government, if you do any mistake, something wrong, so the government or police will come and catch you. Okay, similarly, so even though there are different department of government, it all under works under king. He gives the rules, he creates everything. Similarly, the Lord is there and his energies are there. So his energies, the different department are nothing but the energies of the king, and each department is resting on the king's power. If one person goes and says you should not do this, so his words will not have any value. But his police okay, or he has a backing of a government, okay, so then he is taken very seriously because his words, behind his word there is a power of king, okay, but still one cannot expect king to be present everywhere, uh, every department personally. That is a crude example. This is very crude example by which we can understand king is present or prime minister is present everywhere, or but still he is aloof. Similarly, Krishna is present everywhere because all of things are taken care by his energies, okay. Similarly, yeah, all manifestation that we see and everything that exists both in the matter world and in the spiritual world are resting or the energy of the supreme personality of godhead, you know okay. So in this regard I remember one nice instance. So what happens? Hiranyakashipu, he asked Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, sorry, I meant to say Prahlad, from where you get your energy? Okay. So then Prahlad says, my dear father, or my dear, uh, Asura Shrestha, I get the energy from the same source from where you are getting. So everybody gets energy from, you know, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, the creation takes place by the diffusion of his different energy. And as stated in Bhagavad Gita, you know, Vistambhayam, he is everywhere present by his personal representation, the diffusion of his different energies. So we understood, this thing. We try to understand this shloka, which is today's shloka, which says, okay, you know, uh, okay, yeah, the boys are enthusiastic to play with other boys because they are encouraged by desire, but Lord does not have a desire. Okay, yeah, because material is away from the material world. So we understood how everything in this world, material energy or whatever three modes of matter nature, are basically the servant of Krishna, the energy of Krishna. So they don't act upon Krishna. Okay. So Vidura asked, you are self-satisfied, then Krishna is self-satisfied and detached from everything at all times. Okay. Yeah, because he's self-satisfied. So how does this his pastimes take place? So that is what Vidura's question is there. How does his pastime take place when he's not under the mode of material energy? How does this question is there in the previous verse? This is more adding detail to that question. So here it says, okay, yeah, if he, how is he connected with the material modes of nature? And their activities. If their pastimes, how do the activities of unchangeable take place and exhibit without the modes of nature? To go to further detail about this, philosophically, we understand, there is a Visista Advaita, which the philosophy of Ramanujacharya. So we understand, Shankaracharya first said, everything is one, monism, or he said ki all everything is one and everything merged into the same thing. You are God, I am God, everybody is God. So like that, and Lord, the supreme energy has nothing like that. It is like it does not have any material qualities. So that is how it says. Now in Visishta Advaita, Ramanujacharya says, okay, so Visishta means attributes, okay. Qualities kind of attributes are there because this Shankaracharya's philosophy says it has no qualities kind of, but actually it has no material qualities. So that is what Ramanujacharya is trying to say. It has a Visishta, or it has attribute. The attributes are Lord. What is a Visishta Advaita? The attributes of Lord are inherently with him. These attributes or qualities of the Lord are always there with him. Okay, sometimes he exhibits and sometimes he does not exhibit. So this philosophy is very big. I'm just trying to put it in a small way, whatever which I have heard in one of the lecture. Okay, so it says So sometimes the Lord exhibit that qualities and sometimes he does not exhibit. Okay. When he exhibits, then that relationship between him and his attributes, okay, uh, his qualities are not different. They are the same, when he exhibits those qualities or those, attributes. Okay. And when he does not exhibit that time also, it is a same, So that is how it says Advaita. It is non-different. Yeah. So it is kind of a little complex. So now we'll go to little, something, which we can understand. Okay. So till now, I try to put it, how much of a simple it is possible, but this is very complex part. Okay. So yeah, let me just share my screen. Yeah. So we try to cover this one. So going further on example of, how Krishna exhibit, everything rests upon him, still he is away from him, away from it. So this example was Krishna showed this when he showed how his, uh, within his mouth he showed the complete universe to, what to say, Yashodamai. So one day what happened? Krishna was playing with the mud, and then Balramji came and he told, he lodged a FIR to Mother Yashoda, like, Krishna is eating dirt. Okay, so he complained the mother, and mother came, and because uh, Mother Yashoda is under the covering of Yog Maya, so she had forgotten, or she does not want to, even though she knows that, but still, she wants to cover that, Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. So she is worried, if he eats dirt, his health will get spoiled. So she immediately asks him, open your mouth, beta, whether you have eaten dirt or not. And he opens his mouth, and then he shows the complete universe, everything. So many universes are there, and within that universe, Mother Yashoda is also there sitting, and she is seeing. So this is how we can understand. Everything rests within him, but still he is aloof. So it is quite complex to understand. Hmm. Yeah, but we will try to understand how Prabhupada has given it. Okay. Yeah. Still, Krishna resides in Golaka, his own abode, far beyond all the material worlds, and enjoys a pastime with his devotees. Okay. Yeah. So, Krishna is not like, somebody who's created the world and simultaneously you have to keep on, seeing that if something is going right or something is going wrong. For example, if you launch a satellite, so to maintain the satellite's orbit, there are so many people sitting in one of the, space center in on the earth to, um, what is it, monitor the different parameters of it. But Krishna doesn't have to do like that, because his energies will take care of it. And he personally resides in Golok, and where he's always engaged in his, pastimes. Okay. So this is how we understand about the Lord. Now going to this aspect of attachment and detachment, quite difficult to understand, and especially it says about is self-satisfied and detached from everything. So how to understand this one? So there are two levels in this. One level which he's talking about is, how the creating a creation is also kind of an activity. you know so Krishna is also kind of a detached from that activity also. He does not want to create, or if even if he is kind of created, he is not attached to it. His energies are taking care of this. And why does he create this creation? So we understand, based on Prabhupada's purports, he creates this creation because the living entity wants to uh, become God, or he wants to enjoy separately from the Lord. Okay, so that is the reason Krishna creates a place where the living entity can think he is the God. He is become God. For example, everybody at the same time thinks I am the creation. I am the center of this creation. So that is how in everybody's mind there will be kind of a his own thoughts where he is the central character. Okay, simultaneously everybody is like that. So this is how creation of Lord is there. So it's quite difficult to understand. So we understand, we try to understand that, so that is how Lord has, created everything, but still we have to understand he is detached. So also now we will go, this is one activity from another thing. In his pastimes we can see how the Lord is kind of detached. Okay, so we will just see the different pastimes which he enacted, in which how he was kind of detached. Okay, so one of the quality of the Lord is he is kind of a renunciated, most renunciate person. Okay, one of the six opulence of the Lord is there. Similarly, we see in the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when Lord came as a in, like for example, in Bhagavad Gita, he told what to do. But the students, they are still like, they cannot understand. If some we have a theory class, we cannot understand. So Krishna practically came and show how to practice a devotional service. Okay, so in that case, one of the shloka which I remember, uh, Chaitanya Charitamrita, it comes Madhya, sixth chapter, shloka number 254. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga शिक्षार्थकम एक पुरुष पुराणम श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीरधारी कृपाम्बुदीर्यस्तम aham प्रपद्ये. This specific shloka is, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He composes this shloka. Yeah, and it says, "Let me take the shelter of the Supreme Personal of Godhead, Shri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to teach us the real knowledge. His devotional service and detachment." So because this word detachment is there, that is the reason I just try to think about discuss about this shloka. And from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness, so his devotional service and detachment from whatever does not foster from Krishna conscious service, okay, consciousness. And he has descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender unto him or his lotus feet. So we can see in his pastime as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord has, kind of shows a detachment from very uh, like, young age, from like at the age of, he takes sannyas at the age of 24. So when he took sannyas, you know, his mother was kind of old and she was aged. And then, yeah, and his mother was kind of aged, and then he had his wife, young wife. But even though everything was there, he left everything, and he took sannyas. And why he took sannyas? Kind of so that he can give this Krishna consciousness to everybody. This is an example, or this photo is an example of this what to say, mayavadis, so because they were attached to the light or light feature of that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he sits at a place where entry, and then he says, "I am not qualified," and then he tries to sit down, and then these people are all attracted to this light and the feature of the Lord, because he is that supreme Brahman on which these people kind of meditate. So like this, so he's detached from everything. So in this pastime, we can see how he's left his family at very young age, at age of 24, and then he kind of give this because so that if he takes sannyas, these other people will take him seriously, and these mayavadis who will not listen to anybody, at least sannyasis, they will give respect. So that is how he took up this sannyas, and then he gave this knowledge for others, he flooded them. So we understand how detached is the Lord. Okay, so in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there are many instances. Okay, so we'll go the next pastime in which the Lord is his detachment we can see. So in case of Ramayana, so It comes, there is one shloka which I was, remembering. It comes in second canto, seventh chapter, shloka number 23. Says, Asmat prasadaha sumukha kal, kalaya kaleshaham ikshavo vamsha avartiya guru yuro nideshe tishantahan vanaham sa daitanuja avishveshaham yasmin viruddha dasha kandarha artim archahat. Due to his causeless mercy upon all living entities within this universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with his planetary extensions, appeared in the family of Maharaja Ikshaku as the Lord of his Ikshaku as the Lord of his internal potency, Mother Sita. Under the order of his father, Maharaj Dasharatha, he entered the forest and lived there for considerable years with his wife and younger brother. Ravana, who was very materially powerful with the 10 heads on his shoulders, committed a great offense against him and was thus ultimately vanished. So this is the Lord Rama. So in this pastime, so what is like, he's about to become king. Tomorrow he's supposed to be uh, coronated as a king. And then what he did, he, yeah, so he kind of, yeah, so he kind of, what to say, yeah. And then he got the news, like, instead of becoming king, what is going to happen? He is going to be banished. He has to go to the jungle. So, but Lord was so detached. He didn't, even think one moment, why it is happening like this. So he's the supreme person of Godhead. He's Krishna. He's Rama. So at that moment, he immediately accepted this, and he immediately left out. Okay, he was same like how it was before. Just few minutes back, he was supposed to become the king of this world. I mean to say king of Ayodhya. And later he came to know he has to leave everything and he has to go to the jungle. So we can understand how detached Lord Ramchandra was, and he didn't had even this thing. Even a moment he thought about like why is happening to me. What is this, Lord Lakshman? He became little angry. He became, why is this? Why this Dashra, or why mother is doing like this, Kaikeya is doing like this, or Dashrath Maharaj is doing like this. And he also says, Lord Ramchandra, give me permission, I will go and fight. But Lord says no. So he's so detached from the complete kingdom. So we can understand from this how Lord is detached, you know, from everything because he has other purpose. Okay, so that is why. And further in the pastime also we see he is for his wife, he defeated the complete one kingdom or one complete dynasty of asuras. Ravana and all his family was killed, and he had so much love for the same for his wife. And then he had to banish her. So that is kind of how detached Lord is. How much kind of we can understand that is how much pain he would be feeling, but still he's kind of so detached. Okay. Yeah, if we will go to the next pastime, we can also see in the case of when Krishna, yeah, yeah. So this is very nice shloka. So this is the meditation of yeah, what is it? Bhishma. So this Bhishma is also kind of a great devotee of the Lord, and is always thinking of the Lord only. And he wanted to see Krishna in his form as Kshatriya, fighting with him. And then when because Krishna has taken a oath, he will not fight in this Mahabharata. This Yuddha or Mahabharata, he will not take any weapon. Okay, so this shloka he says, you know. Pitama Bhishma, or Bhishma, he's meditating. Swanikamaha, Swanikamam apahayaha mat pratigyanam ratam adi kartum avalupto ratastaha draha rataha charano abhya chalantur hari eva hantum idam gato tariyaha. Fulfilling my oath and sacrificing his promise. Lord is so detached. So he gives up his own promise. If people like us, we sometimes say, "यार मैंने बोल दिया एक बार, तो करना है." Kind of a word. In like in his previous pastime as Lord Ramachandra, he showed that. But in this pastime, he is ready to sacrifice his words or his promise just to protect devotee, because that situation, it becomes so fearsome fight that Bhishma says, okay, today either Lord has to pick up the weapon, or else I will finish this Arjuna. And because this was a desire of Bhishma, and also he wanted to protect Arjuna, and because Bhishma Dev fought so fiercely that Arjuna was not able to do anything, and he was getting wounded. And then immediately what the Lord did, he jumped like like a lion, and then he picked up this what is a wheel. And so when he picked up the wheel, so this Pitama Bhishma said, anyway, you have broken this your promise. You had said you will not pick up the weapon, but you have picked it up. You know, so, and that is what I just want to see. I just want to see, and I will not fight. You just kill me. I am ready to die. And when he's leaving his body, then he's remembering this. How Lord, just for me, he picked up the wheel of the chariot. And he's running towards me hurriedly, just like a lion goes to kill an elephant. Yeah, and his dress also falls down. So that Virya, so this what is it? He's remembering Pitama Bhishma, or Bhishma is in Virya Rasa. So he's remembering that pastime. Okay. Yeah. Is it my mic is correct now? Is it fine? I think this is old message. Yeah. So that is how we can understand. Okay. So going further, so now we understood how the Lord is detached. So this is what we were discussing about his detachment. Now we will go to another aspect of this, description. Okay. So this purport. Okay. So here it says, boys are enthusiastic to play with other boys or various diversion because they are encouraged by desire. Okay. So the living entity, okay, so the living entity in this metal world, they are born, okay, yeah, yeah, are overcome by the duality nature of this world. So okay, there is a difference because this material modes of nature does not act upon God or Supreme Personality of Godhead or his pure devotees, who are completely dedicated for, who are completely surrendered to him, like, like for example, Prabhupada, uh, and other pure devotees, like, the six Goswamis and all. So they are completely surrendered to the Lord. So this does not act upon them material nature. But the other living entities, like, like we are there. So we are kind of a, what to say, overcome by the duality nature of this world. Okay. So we are to understand that this world is a place of suffering, material place, which is kind of a place for suffering. It is called as a dukkhalaya ashashvatam. From Brahma to Pataloka, everywhere in this world, it's not like that somebody goes to heaven and he's happy there. Because in heaven also there are two miseries, two are absent, two are there, old age and disease are absent, but birth and death are there. Once your time is over, then you come back to this world. Also there are other measures like fear. Sometimes demons will attack the heavenly planet, then all devatas have to kind of take shelter of Lord Vishnu. So like that, this all issues will be there in heavenly planet also. Okay, so there is no place in this material world which is happy. This world is dukkalaya ashashvatam. So if you go to pustakalaya, what you will get? Pustak. Okay, if you go to aushadalaya, no, where you get aushadhi. Similarly, if you come to this material world, which is a dukkalaya, which is certified by the creator of this world, says this place is for dukkha. Hmm? So you will get a dukkha even from Brahma Loka till the Patal Loka, from the great Indra to or Brahma till the small Indragopa, the smallest insect. Everybody kind of a suffering. Will get a suffering in this world. Yeah. Okay. The happiness in this world is like a flickering happiness. Sometimes we see, this camel is there, and this camel eats what it says, thorn or cactus, cactus plant, and then it feels, oh, this is a special taste I'm getting, but actually it is his own blood. So this world, in this metal world, whoever, even though we feel, somebody is happy or something, but you have to put a lot of hard work or something, behind that, so that you can get something like that. So it is also given an example of in earlier days, like, the kings were punishing the criminals. How they used to punish? They used to tie them, and they into the kind of branch, or into plank, and that plank will put into the water, dunk. So, or the person's head will put into the water, and then he cannot breathe, and he's suffering a lot. And then he will remove that head for few minutes, so that he can take 2 3 breaths. That is a kind of happiness in this material world. The time gap between two suffering can be uh, understood as a happiness of this world. Okay. Okay. And how we can understand this world, until the moment the spiritual master, who comes and opens our eyes with the torch light of knowledge. The everybody is bound by the lust, the lust, or greed. I want to be the enjoyer, I want to own this, I want to buy this property, or this bank, or I want to be this position, I want that, I want this. Everything is kind of a lust. Okay. And because of this lust, the person is continuing in this world, he's suffering and suffering and suffering, and he doesn't even know he's suffering. For example, the first stage for the cure of any disease is knowing that one person is got a disease. If a person does not even know he's having any disease, then where are the chances of him getting recovery? So similarly, until the moment the spiritual master, or we does not, or we don't take the shelter of spiritual master, we will not even come to know we are suffering. Okay, so we have to take the guidance or the shelter of spiritual master. For example, yeah, we have to take this lust and convert it into the love. There's a difference between lust and love. Okay, love means service. So devotional service, that is what Prabhupada always says. So he converts bhakti to the word called as a devotional service. So not, I have not seen this translation anywhere else, or nobody other than Prabhupada is able to properly convert this word bhakti. What does this love exactly mean? So it means devotional service. Okay. So lust needs to be converted to a love. So for example, this deer, we have one picture of deer. So it comes, and in Shastras, like sometime the deer is running in the desert, and then he's seeing a mirage. He's seeing the water is there. I will reach that position and I will drink water. But actually, it is not water. It is just a mirage because of that heat effect. That place is looking like it is having water. And sometimes we can also see that, in a very hot summer, if you are driving, we can see in the front of road there is some kind of a water. But exactly, it is not water. It is just a mirage. It looks like that. Similarly, this deer is running. What is the difference? He is doing all activities correctly, but the mistake is that in desert there is no water. Running, searching a water in desert is that is a foolishness. Similarly, in this world, sometimes we think, getting a good marks, getting a first class rank, or getting this thing will make me happy. Getting a big company or earning so much money will make me happy. It is just like a deer who's running in the desert. Things will not make us happy. Yeah. By this sense gratification, I will become happy. By doing that, I will become happy. So it is not possible. Okay. Yeah. Only we will get the frustration and angry. For example, if our desires does not get fulfilled, then we get frustrated. And once we get frustrated, we get anger. So that is how the it goes. Okay. Until the moment one does not get disease, so it keeps on getting more and more entangled. Okay. Yeah. So how to get out of this issue? For example, there is also an example of once one necklace of one princess was stolen away, and everybody was told anybody who finds it out, he will get a reward. And then there is people can see there is a necklace in the water, and people are trying to dive and take out that necklace, but they cannot take it out, because actually the real necklace is there in the tree, and the water, it is just a reflection. So the happiness, all those which we see in this material world, okay, that are the reflection. So that is not true, but that does not mean that thing does not exist. That happiness do exist, that exists in the spiritual world. When we take to sadhana bhakti, okay, using this sadhana bhakti, or on the path, by practicing sadhana bhakti, we can convert this lust to a love. We can convert it to a prema bhakti. Hmm? The material attachment in any ways will spoil everything. Okay, even don't get attached even to flowery words of Vedas. So we have this tenth offense, to maintain a material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Okay, it is an also offense. Okay, so when we daily chant, before that we recite 10 offenses. It says to maintain a material attachment. So we should not have any material attachment. Even a little material attachment is there, then we will be stuck, and it is an offense. That is how we understand this, and how we can this thing. अतः श्री कृष्ण नामादि न भवेत गृहत इंद्रिया सेवन मुखे ही जीवादो स्वयं eva spurtiha. So this is the same shloka, which Prabhupada was quoting in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, So now we will try to understand why Prabhupada is trying to quote this one. Okay, and how, what is the kind of a meaning. Um, so this comes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and at a very high level, one of the lectures I was hearing, and that it was mentioning Graham Indriya. So it says Graham Indriya. Just like it's not possible to see the midday sun directly using our eyes, we need a special goggle of a devotional service to see and realize Krishna. With these senses we cannot see. Okay, for even to see the sun in the midday, if you see the sun, your eyes will get this thing. So we cannot see that. And if you want to see, then we require a special goggle, sun, the glasses which can block sun rays, then we can see that. So similarly, we require a devotional service to see the Lord. The same thing Prabhupada says, Premanjina Bhakti Vilochanena. So we require the special, with only devotional service, we are able to see the Lord. Without that, with our current senses, we cannot see. Until the moment we don't have devotional service, we cannot see with our senses. Okay. Yeah. Without devotional service, without engaging in devotional service, we cannot understand or realize the Krishna. Hmm? Even though our senses will look good, but it will not see. Okay. So example is given. The knife is sharp. Knife is useful. The senses are only this knife is useful until the moment it is sharp. If it is not sharp, it is not useful. Similarly, yeah, if it becomes blunt, it is useless. Similarly, our senses are so blunt and useless. With these senses, we cannot see. And only if we engage in the service of the Lord, the senses will become useful, so that we can see. How we can use the senses? It is said in Bhagavatam, it comes. Okay, so we'll end here. Yeah. In Bhagavatam, second chapter, sorry, second canto, third chapter, from sloka number 20 to 24, it says, you know, it gives a one, very little strong words, but that is what, it is there in Bhagavatam. One who has not listened to the messages about the prowess and the marvelous act of personality of Godhead, and has not sung or chanted loudly the worthy songs about Lord, is considered to be possessing ear holes like the holes of snakes and tongue like the tongue of frog. So until moment we don't use our senses for the devotional service, we don't hear the glories of the Lord, or we don't sing loudly Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or we don't chant. The senses, the same senses are considered like, like the ear holes of snakes, you know, holes of snakes where the so many snakes live, so kind of a, or a tongue of a frog. Frog tongue, what it does, it croaks and it calls its enemy snake. Snake will hear the croaking of frog and it will come and eat it. Similarly, if one does not hear the glories of the Lord, or it doesn't recite, so his senses are waste. Although, like, if person's head is covered with silken turban, and if he does not bow in front of the Lord, okay, and his hand does not decorate, although decorated with the glittering bangles, okay, they are like, strong words of dead man if they are not engaged in the service of the Lord Hari. That is what Bhagavatam says. So how we should use our senses to bow, head to bow down in front of the deities, and to devotees, and like, hands for serving the Lord. Okay, the eyes, which does not see the deities or murtis, Vishnu Murti, are like that of a printed eyes on the peacock. Peacock feather also has some eyes, but it has no value. Hmm? Okay, and the legs which does not move to the holy dhams are useless, is considered like to be tree trunks. Okay, yeah, and he does not have devotion, it is just like a dead body. Yeah. Hmm. If somebody is not tasting the tulsi leaf, so he's also considered, kind of a, yeah, dead body, although he's breathing. Certainly his heart, this one is nice, certainly that heart is steel frame. The heart is steel frame. In spite of once chanting the holy name of Lord with concentration, does not change when, that tears does not come and hair does not stand on. Okay, so that heart is considered steel flame until, we are not having, even though we are, in spite of chanting the holy name of Lord, if our heart is not melting, then our heart is steel frame. So then we have to chant more and pray to the Lord, because, oh Lord, my heart is so this thing, it has become like a steel frame. And similarly, the further explanation is given about how useless are our senses. Yeah, until the moment we don't use it for the service of the Lord. And the greatest service, the first most service of everything, is the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah, so today's discussion, we saw, okay, to summarize this, we saw Lord's potency, opulence, as, he, even though he is self-satisfied and detached from everything, how he does that is what Vidura is asking the question. So we saw the detachment aspect of Lord, and we saw, like, how we are getting affected by this material world. Lord is not affected by this material world, because everything in this material world is only his expansions. So we saw that all. So here I summarize, or here we summarize the lecture. Is there any queries or question? So I think already I'm 5 minutes. Any
Hare
question?
Krishna Prabhu, Dandava Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhu, like, how do we understand, there is a confusion, like, Krishna, like, in the heavenly planet, Jay Vijay was there, and they were cursed by 4 Brahmanas, and Jay Vijay has to take all of this, Hiranyakashipu and other things. Is it the plan of Krishna, like he wants to enjoy with them, and he wants this all Leela, he wants to come up again and again, again and again? So is it Krishna wants to fight with them and enjoy with them, or how exactly do you understand this, Prabhu? If you can please.
So Krishna is somebody like, you might have heard this kavat, एक एक पत्थर दो चिड़िया or एक तीर दो निशाने, something like that. So but Krishna is not like that. Krishna is one tir and many nishanes. He can do many things with one activity. So that is how the Lord is described. So simultaneously, when he has desire to fight with, because if he wants to have some kind of a fighting, so he requires some, like, if you go and fight with somebody, I mean to say, if there is very strong person, so and if he goes and fights with somebody very thin, so there is no comparison at all. Imagine if there is no Pitama Bhishma, then all this will not look, Mahabharata will not look so this thing. Imagine if there is no Hiranyakashipu, then this Prahlad Maharaj pastime will not look. So it is a plan of Lord only. So it is like, how the actor or drama party goes from one place to other place and displaces. So Krishna is giving, and so the two things he want to achieve, one thing, he wants to give pleasure to his devotees. So one, that is one act, so he's giving pleasure. Jaya Vijay are also his devotees. So that is also kind of a part of pastime, because to fight with him, he requires somebody strong, and only his devotees can play this role. If you want to make a drama, so the villain role is also given a lot of this thing, what is the importance. If you cannot make anybody as a villain in the drama, he has to be very prominent, his voice and everything has to be prominent. So he particularly selects this two, you know Jay Vijay. So they are his eternal this thing. But also he has to give pleasure to everybody, all his devotees, like in Ayodhya or in Ramayana or in, Krishna Lila. So all, so many devotees are there who are kind of taking a pleasure, when, because if this Ravana is not there, then how Lord Ram will come? And if Lord Ram does not come, how we will discuss Ramayana? So that is also required. So that is two things he achieves with a single this thing. So that is how he does it. And then, he gives a pleasure to his devotees. And seeing this, discussing this all, the people will get so much attached. For example, us, by hearing this all pastimes, slowly slowly we will get attached to the Lord. And once our attachment will develop, then we will, try to go back to Godhead. So he wants all of his children back to his place. And how he can do that? So for that, he has to display his pastime, like what he's doing in his spiritual world. At least picture ka trailer to dekho. So like that, the pura picture we can see it in the spiritual world. But to show the trailer, he comes, so then he does all those. But it is not the same thing which kind of repeats. There is always a little version is little different, when we hear Narsim Dev, when one of the, like, I was hearing lecture, Guru Maharaj lectures, he was saying sometimes Lord Narsim Dev will come directly from, he might not come from pillar, might come directly, and sometime he will, so different little version will be little changes. So every time, but the same thing will happen, it will be all the same thing, but kind of a little changes will be there. Okay. Yeah. So this Krishna Lila also, Krishna's pastime will happen every time. Okay. But original Krishna will come only once in the day of Brahma. And that time, Lord Chaitanya will also come. So this is a specific time when Lord Krishna himself has come. Or other time also, this Krishna will, who is like Amsha of the Lord, will also come. Vasudeva will come, and these pastimes will happen. But this Vrindavan pastimes and all are kind of quite this thing. So, uh, to answer your question, yes, Lord does this thing. It is a plan of him. Okay, there are many reasons for doing this thing. One is he wants to enjoy that special rasa, the this thing of viraha bhav, which he cannot experience in the spiritual world. Spiritual world, it is all, they are all together, so vipralamba bhav, which can be only experienced in this world, material world, when Lord Rama Mother Sita is not there. He's experiencing that, that pain. And then he's saying, Ki, this time you are going to jungle. Next time I will go. When I will come as a Chaitanya, I will come as a Mahaprabhu. I will go to the forest and you will live in the home. And, I will take sannyas and then you will be crying. So like that, this kind of Baba, he can experience only in the world. But also, this and kind of a little entertainment. So this feature will also there, the fighting or everything is there. So that explains Prabhu to some extent.
Yeah, very nice, Prabhu. Very well explained, Prabhu. Thank you,
Yeah,
Prabhuji. I feel this also holds for our living entity. Like we are also like we are separated from Krishna. We can
correct.
have that feeling like that we want to go back home, go back to God,
Yeah,
right? And Krishna also want to enjoy with us, isn't it, Prabhu? Is it?
correct. Yeah, that is the
Yeah.
same thing. What you're saying is exactly the correct thing, because we have getting attracted by this, desert. We are searching a water in desert. Desert, we cannot get water. The real water is there in the, river. So we have to turn our face towards Krishna. So if we don't even know it does exist, so how we will go there? So there's Krishna is so merciful. He sends his pure devotees, who tell us about all this, and then we, slowly get attracted. So that is how it is. Okay. So very nice question, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Dhanavad. Okay. So anybody has any other query, or we will end our session here. Thank you for all your time. Actually, this is very complex kind of a topic. I heard many times, but still I was, the Lord's feature of detachment, how he's getting things created is quite difficult to understand, but we will try. Yeah. Okay, Prabhuji, chalo, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
It is only to experience. We can't say anything.
Yeah. So once we try to understand how less we know about the Lord, so we'll try to start understanding about the Lord. So it is quite difficult, how he can be detached from the everything what he has created, and how his pastimes getting enacted, because he's not under the mode of this material nature. So this is quite a difficult thing. Vidura is not ordinary person. He's he's Yamraj himself, and he's asking such questions, about creation and all. It's quite bewildering, to even think about that. I was meditating for a week, still I was not able to comprehend. And I was hearing lectures. And then this is what I can, yeah. Okay, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare